Welcome! Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Elevator Pitch. Here, talking to you, Altair.
And I'm Hazel, as always.
Exactly. And today, it's another Andres Hagedorn edition.
Hello.
Welcome once again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
As you know, we like to have also, from time to time, a male perspective on things.
That's me.
That is you.
One of our only other friends that we can find to be on the podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah, they begged me.
We were so desperate.
So if you listen to the two last episodes, our theme was misjudged films.
Mm-hmm.
Hazel presented
Jennifer's Body.
I presented Alexander. And
that was a great one.
That was a great one to rip apart.
If you haven't heard that one yet, please do. It's so good.
I missed that one, but I would have had some
You'll
fun.
have to catch up.
And today is your turn, Andres. Which film did you bring us?
I decided to bring the 1996 classic movie Dragonheart. Favorite of mine.
Oh, nice.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
This was a new one for me. I'd never even heard of this film.
You're a baby.
I am a baby.
Baby of the
You weren't even born.
No.
You weren't even born.
I was -1.
Yeah, that's how young she is, Andres.
I forgive you.
But even in the years after that, like there's Disney films that came out before I was born, and I still watched them as a kid. But I honestly never came across Dragonheart.
And that's exactly why I want to
we're
speak
here.
about it. It's because for some reason this movie was forgotten in time. I mean, I guess I know why, but it's just so sad because it is a movie that I think is worth watching. It's a silly movie, I know, but it's fun.
A very unique
It's
movie.
fun to watch, at least for me, for people like me. I enjoy it. Unlike Tomb Raider, the one I watched the other day. No, it's a fun movie that is easy to watch. It's not that long. It tells a fun story, and it has lots of good things.
Yeah, it tells a sweet, good, coherent story.
Cool. Mm-hmm. So if you're ready, give us your pitch.
Yes, so we're going to start with a little synopsis.
Yeah.
So, in the land of, I think it's England,
The ancient land of England.
the fantasy land of England.
We can talk about this because I pointed this out to you yesterday when we watched it, but we can talk about this.
Yes,
where it's
we
actually
will.
set. Yeah.
Bowen, a disillusioned knight of the old code and dragon slayer, forms an unusual friendship with a dragon called Draco as they fight against the kingdom's tyrannical and immortal ruler. Unbeknownst to Bowen, though, is the fact that Draco is the same dragon that years ago offered half of his heart to save the king.
Chon, chon, chon.
Da, da, da.
Chon, chon, chon.
I'm already hooked.
Yeah, that's the plot. So,
Cool.
what's good about this movie? Well, I think the best thing that the movie has is the character development. I think it has good character development, especially between the two leads, which are Bowen, played by
Dennis
Quaid.
Dennis Quaid, and Draco, that's played
dragon.
by Sean Connery. I mean, voiced by Sean Connery. I think it's really well made how they kind of become friends. Like at first they're enemies. They of course he wants to kill the dragon. He blames the dragon on this thing that happened years ago, where he poisoned the mind of this boy, which then becomes the king. And I don't know. I feel like it's believable how they slowly start to kind of grow to each other and have these small moments of character development. For example, when they're fighting, the first battle they have, and the Draco tries to eat Bowen or tries to bite him. So and he ends up in the mouth of the dragon, with his sword. Stuck in his upper
on the roof of
mouth
his mouth.
part.
Yeah.
So he can't close his mouth, and they spend the whole night like this. And it really, at some point, they stop fighting and they start kind of trying to make a truce. And there's this very small moment where Bowen takes this old bone from a knight from the dragon's mouth, and it's really gross.
That's been stuck in his teeth for ages.
But it's a small moment that kind of breaks the tension a bit. And it's after that they're kind of okay. Yeah, now what do we do? How do we solve this? And I don't know. I have fun watching them. I think it's a cute friendship. And in the end, you really kind of feel sad.
Yeah, you feel sad for
the
him.
ending. It's like, oh, they were friends.
Aw.
Oh, he lost his dragon buddy.
And even the other characters, the supporting characters, I feel are very simple, but are fun. Like they are, you know how they are, what kind of persons they are. I think the monk character, the Fry Gilbert,
Yeah.
it's fun. Like I think he's a funny guy. The
Yeah,
way
they don't just fade into the background like some.
Yeah. They do have some
Secondary
motivation. They do have
Yeah.
personalities, and they're consistent with these personalities. And I think there's no character that just appears to explain the plot. I think all of them kind of play a role. And yeah, I like it. My second point, I think the movie has got a great soundtrack. I feel like, okay, it's not Lord of the Rings, but it is very good, and it suits the atmosphere of the movie. It's like very like bombastic and happy, and it's also dramatic at some points. And yeah, I think it's an underrated movie soundtrack that should be considered higher on the list.
Okay.
Okay.
I wrote here fun story. I think the story is fun. It's a bit cliche. It's the typical, I guess, fantasy story, but I feel like it's well told, and it has a lot of humor, and I feel it doesn't take itself too seriously. I think it's not trying to be this great epic Game of Thrones dark greedy movie. It's just like a happy merry fantasy sword and shield movie, and for what it is, I think it's pretty good. I feel that there's no really like a boring part, at least for me, and it flows, and it has like ups and downs. And yeah, I don't know. I really enjoy the story. I think it has good moments.
Okay.
The last thing I wrote, the penultimate thing, as plenty of good old sword and shield swashbuckling action.
The thing every boy wants to see.
Yeah. For people who like action and like fantasy movies, this movie delivers lots of.
Yeah,
fights.
I was thinking there's some good sword fighting in this.
Good choreography
Yeah.
and fire breathing. And,
Oh yeah.
and
Fireballs
dragon hunting, horse riding, bow shooting, a lot of good stuff. Good stuff that everyone enjoys.
stuff.
And the battles have character in them. For example, when Ainon, the king, the enemy, the antagonist, fights with Bowen on the river, there's a lot of character in that. Like he's basically telling him like, I never learned anything from you. You suck, and now I just learned how to fight, and now you're dead, basically. And that kind of demoralizes him, and he like basically gives up. That's very sad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good character moment that.
So I feel like the action scenes are fun, and also like they do tell the stories. And most of them, they're not just like Tomb Raider action scenes. They're just there to I don't know, to just feel the empty parts of the movie. And in the end, I think the movie has a good message and has like nice themes like redemption, friendship, and like I don't know, freedom. It's just like a very positive movie. And I feel like in this day and age, we have so many like dark fantasy movies, and I love dark fantasy. I love like the Game of Thrones and horrible like worlds where people die and like everyone is miserable. But sometimes it's
where
very
people are monsters and
But sometimes it's fun to just see like a happy movie with like people winning and I don't know, adventure and
people power.
Yeah, power to the people.
Yeah.
Stick it to the man. And it's a movie that makes me happy, and
Aww.
it warms my heart.
Aww.
That's
Your dragon heart.
my dragon. No pun intended.
Okay, cool. So we gonna go straight into the plot then, I guess.
Yes,
Cool.
let's go.
Do you want to lead us through it?
Yes, so the movie starts in the past. The beginning of the movie, we start with this protagonist called Bowen, which is training with this kid called Ainon. I think it's the prince of this land, and he's like his teacher. They're doing some sword fight training.
They're doing some sword fighting.
Yeah, look, any good movie starts with sword fighting. And this is basically teaching them this code of honor. He's a very honorable man. But this kid is kind of like a jerk. Like, he immediately is such an asshole, and yeah, basically you immediately know that there's something wrong with this kid. He's
Yeah.
like way too aggressive.
He's gonna go off the deep end.
Yeah, he's clearly not a good kid. And then this guard comes and he's like, yeah, the peasants are revolting. Come see, young prince, how your father murders all these innocent people. And then the knight is like, but there's no honor in that. He's like, fuck you, basically. Like, nanny. I think he calls him like a babysitter or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so then they go to watch this like massacre. And I don't know why the king is there, like massacring people himself. And like Einon, this kid witnesses how his father is murdered not murdered, killed, because he was looking for it.
Yep.
He deserved it by these peasants. And yeah, the immediate thing that he does, instead of aiding his dying father, he goes and steals the crown, tries to steal the crown from him.
Yeah.
This kid is really messed up. It's like horrible. And yeah, and then as he tries to grab the crown, he's accidentally kind of pushed into a thing that like stabs him
Into like a spike.
by this
type
girl,
thing, yeah.
this like peasant girl, and he's like basically dying now. He's like stabbed him in the heart. So then everyone is like, oh shit, like he's
We have to
dying.
do
How
something.
can we save him? How can we save this good kid? I don't know why everyone, like, why Bowen doesn't notice how horrible this kid is.
Well, I found that quite interesting because I guess it says a lot about his character, how noble he is, and how he wants, how he really, really wants to believe that this kid is good, and that it wasn't the kid who turned bad, but it was the dragon who turned him bad.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. Yeah, because
Yeah.
then basically what the queen decides is like, yeah, he's dying. There's no way we can save him except if we go to ask this ancient dragon who lives in this cave and basically make a pact with him. So they made this kid recite the old like words about honor and being a knight. He has to basically promise that he will be a just ruler, and then what the dragon does is that he gives him half of his heart to give him immortal life, or basically the same, because I think dragons in this world are immortal, and they die only when I think they want to die or something. So basically their lives are now tied. If the dragon dies, he dies. So then we cut to now the present, where Einon, this kid, is basically become the biggest, most diabolical man in existence, and he's like awful. Like he just murders people and tortures them and makes them work for like slaves, and he's awful. He's the worst person ever. And there's even this scene where there's this girl, the same girl who caused him to
Get stabbed.
She's like, please forgive my father. He's so old and blind, and please let him free. Please, he can't do anything now. He's just an old blind man. He's like, yeah, don't worry, I'll release him. And then he just kills him.
Yeah,
Like,
he just shoots him with an
he
arrow.
just shoots him with an arrow. A poor old blind man. It's just how bad, how evil can you be? Yeah, he's the
But I
worst.
think wasn't her father like what? Didn't he lead the rebellion? I think.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That was years ago, and he was
Get over it,
punished
man.
for it. He was punished. He was blinded. For
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's awful. So then Bowen is now older, and he sees this, and he's like, "What's wrong with you? I don't know. You were so good before. I don't know. It was never good." But then he blames this on the dragon, and he bows because he says, "You poisoned this pure good boy. So I vow to kill all dragons, and that's what I will do."
Yeah. So he pisses off and
Yeah,
Goes
and
and
he's
slays
"Fuck
dragons
you,
for
dragons."
12 years.
Yeah, and actually now we got to like present time.
Yes.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
another flash forward.
Yeah.
And now basically,
So that's when the father dies.
yeah, now Bowen is basically like a very grumpy knight who just survives in this world. He has lost all his motivation to help people. He just goes around killing dragons for money.
Yeah. And I think once we get back to Bowen in the present.
Yeah.
I think he's there in a village and he's trying to get some money for killing a dragon.
That's right, yeah. And he comes
Yeah.
across the priest. Is that it?
Exactly, I think
Yeah,
so.
he wants. There's this guys who are like, hey, he's hunting down a dragon, but then when he kills the dragon, the guys, these Ainon servants, he's like bodyguards. I don't know, the guys who rule this town. They don't want to pay him. They're like, this is a service you're doing for us. Like we don't need to pay you. And he's like, fuck you guys. Then he meets this priest who's like, he wants to be like a poet. He's looking for somebody to inspire him with great acts of heroism.
And I think he then somehow ends up in this waterfall /
Yeah,
cave.
this is where we noticed like the super fake rocks.
Yeah.
But it's a dragon.
Yeah. But I guess so. I'm guessing that wasn't purpose, or was that just bad CGI?
But CGI.
Probably.
Yeah, because it looks so like the first thing that I said to Hazel when we saw that scene was like, how fake are
do those rocks look? And
Yeah,
then
that's the thing. Like
Yeah.
it's the dragon in camouflage, and the poet wants to write, so he's kind of wants to test his pen against the rock, and he wakes up this dragon who was actually camouflaged as a rock, and then he basically chases the dragon in a really, I guess. I don't know.
This is one of the things for me. It's like, I mean, I couldn't quite work out tonally what this movie wanted to do, because then this scene is so slapstick, but then also particularly the scenes with the king are really dark and serious.
Yeah.
And there is an explanation for that.
Okay.
The thing is, this movie was supposed to be different.
Yeah.
Like the original guy who wrote the script, he was thinking of a much more dark movie, like a real serious like science fiction movie. And then the studio people, they hired this director who was basically told to make a more like a kids friendly movie. Then they added all of these like silly things.
Okay.
But interestingly enough, I don't know, I like those silly things. I think they're a good addition to the movie. Don't bother me. I feel like it's fun.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's just they're funny. It's just the tonal shifts.
Yeah, it's very weird. Like you see this murder psychopath, and then
it's particularly
cut to Bowen hanging from a rope and slamming
against trees,
and Draco saying like,
and his character,
here I go.
and also maybe because I see his character is very tortured, that he I guess sort of raised and trained this kid, and this kid turned out to be so evil, and he kind of gave up on the world, and then all of a sudden you have this slapstick bit where he's just being knocked against trees while trying to...
He's very stupid. Yeah, he shoots like a rope toward the dragon. The dragon starts flying through the woods, and he slams against the trees like a Tom and Jerry cartoon.
Yeah, exactly.
But I just find it so hilarious, and that this is the kind of thing that you can't see in movies nowadays. Just doesn't happen anymore, and it's just fun. This is a good old fun. A guy slamming into trees.
That's what people want to see, Hollywood.
Sometimes you just want to see a guy
getting slammed into trees,
shouting, "Oh my god!" and slamming into trees. Yeah. So then they keep battling. I think the fight against the dragon is pretty cool. I think for 2000 standards, it looks cool. Even
for 1996.
Oh yeah, sorry, 1996. Even older. This was just after Jurassic Park, and the technology was kind of new, and it is pretty cool. Like it's fire, it breathes fire. It tries to smash him with its tail. It tries to bite him, scratch him, and even though the dragon looks kind of fake, it's just still kind of. I still kind of believe that it's a real creature. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the dragon design itself is pretty good. I think it's just the CGI lets it down a little bit.
In some shots, it looks much better, and in some it looks kind of fakeish.
Yeah.
But the fight scene is pretty cool. I always liked it growing up. And then they end up in this scene where they are basically in a draw. Like he's in his eye of his mouth with his sword, and they decide basically after a lot of time of like trying to kill each other, that the best thing they can do is to kind of work together. And the dragon is going to pretend to attack a village, and then he's going to pretend to slay the dragon. They're going to make a lot of money. And that's really stupid, but it's fun. Like, you don't see that happening in Lord of the Rings. and it's just a very fun duo. I don't know. I like seeing them together when they're doing this fire, and like, I don't know, they talk, and he teaches them about dragons. He talks about like, I don't know, just cute.
We notice something when they're talking.
Yeah, I think it's after, exactly.
What fire?
like he's trying to roast a pig.
Oh yeah,
I
the
think,
fire,
and then he lights the Draco, the dragon lights the fire, and then they kind of have this kind of like
Homoerotic tension,
Oh, I
Andres.
didn't know this.
we were wondering if you caught this, but they have this
What
heart to
homoerotic?
heart. But then it's they're like, no, Draco's like, stop calling me dragon, I have a name. But you wouldn't be able to pronounce it. So
Yeah.
then Dennis Quaid tries to give him a name, Draco.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then and then he's like, nah, that's stupid. Like it just means
Yeah,
dragon in another
I know
language.
I've seen it,
And
yeah.
then Draco
"No,
just
I
kind of
like it."
stops
Yeah.
him. It's like, no, I like it.
Yeah,
And we both turned to each other and we're like, are they building up sexual tension between him and the dragon?
Ooh, some people might think that.
Oh.
But I don't know. I just thought that Draco is not really a person. It's like an animal also, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he has kind of like a pet attitude sometimes. It's like a I don't know, like a dog being grateful for being named, and I didn't see the homoerotic tension.
Okay.
I just saw people.
It's just this moment where he just says, no.
Yeah, it's,
like
it's the
it.
whole it's the
If he
whole
was
thing.
a person, if he was a man, I would be pretty homoerotic. But since he's a dragon, like dragons are
But the
different.
dragon does have kind of these mannerisms, though,
Exactly.
like
Because it's a
dragon.
these human mannerisms.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like it's a different type of creature. It's not a person. So maybe dragons are more affectionate to each other, and they do say these things between them. Maybe two male dragons would be like.
that doesn't make it gay. That's what you're.
Maybe dragons
Try to
are
argue.
bisexual.
So there is that possibility.
Maybe dragons don't have this toxic masculinity.
Exactly.
Maybe dragons can just tell directly to each other's eyes, like,
I love you, man.
I love you.
no, I like it. And the other guy's like, oh, that's great.
Cool.
I'm glad you like it.
And they don't need to say no homo after that. Wouldn't that be a good thing to happen?
Wouldn't that be a nice world?
Right.
Be more like the dragon
Be like more
guys.
like
They're
Draco.
advanced. They're evolved past these earthly constraints.
Oh, good.
Their sexuality is fluid for them. They don't
Yeah.
need to think about these binaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just thought that was interesting. We just wondered if you might have noticed that or
Maybe a little bit. But
you
I
picked
said,
up on that.
nah, they're both tough guys. no.
Oh, good.
Well, maybe I did find Bowen attractive. And Bowen also found Draco attractive.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe.
I think there's something there.
But then he does kind of fall in love with this girl.
I mean, I think like I read that in the original version of the script, they developed more a little bit that relationship, but then they cut it out when the new director came because they thought apparently like in the original script like they even had like a moment in which he held her hand and like kissed her gently, and like the director said, oh no, I don't think she would be that kind of a character. I think she needs to be more of a a fighter. So they took that out of the film.
Yeah, I think they made the right call because
Yeah.
I think in this movie, this is a bromance movie. It's not a romance
Exactly,
movie.
Yeah.
And you don't need to have a female
Love
love
interest.
interest.
Distraction.
Yeah,
Exactly.
No, because it's not about that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's a different story.
Yeah.
So yeah, then after they do this scamming
So after
thing,
they have this moment together,
Yeah.
I
they go
think-
to a village, and that's when they, where he's a kind of a dick and is like, oh, if you don't have gold, give me one of your women.
yeah,
yeah.
but this is the village that revolted the first time. This is the same
Okay.
village where this girl grew up, and so they are, they're the ones that will later in the movie be led
heroes.
to fight back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not as any village, and basically Bowen tricks them into saying that dragons are basically okay. If you don't have money, you can give them one of your
No, the
daughters.
daughters. Yeah.
The chief of the village is like, no, and
And then they're like, oh well, she doesn't have a dad anymore, so they
Yeah.
can have
yeah,
her.
they're horrible. They sacrifice this poor girl just because she's like
Yeah.
annoying.
Yeah. Is this? I'm guessing this is after she gets because she tries to kill the king at one point. Doesn't she?
Exactly. We go back a few minutes. There's a scene with her when she sneaks into like a royal feast.
Yeah.
And she tries to stab the king, but the king is a horrible rapist asshole, and he like.
That's the thing. I thought
kidnaps her.
there's a moment where he takes her to his bedroom,
Yeah.
and then
So uncomfortable.
throws her on the bed, and you think, oh my god, is he gonna do what I think he's gonna do?
It's horrible. It's like, oh.
And then he doesn't, but it's the implication
But
is there.
he almost did it with
Yeah,
his.
I think-
he did it with his.
In his
with
mind.
His mind.
I
yeah.
think in the original script I was reading that he does rape her, and there's a scene in which when Dennis Quaid is like trying to get together with the girl, and she says, "No, like he raped me, so I don't have anything to give you anymore." And that's when he says, "I don't mind, baby."
What
but
a
yeah,
good man.
what a good man. But yeah, exactly. I thought it was like, is there a rape scene
In
coming?
this PG-13 movie?
I think she did feel raped. Well, but
Yeah.
he doesn't rape her, thank
Yeah.
God.
No.
But he's such a horrible
Oh
guy.
god, he's so
Yeah.
creepy.
He has his face. This actor, what's his name?
Lupin. I just call him Lupin.
Yeah,
'cause
the
that's
guy
why I
from
know
Harry
him.
Potter.
Yeah, the guy who plays Lupin.
In this movie, he has like such a psycho face, and
Ugh.
like it's just so disgusting. You just want to murder him. And I feel contrary to stupid Tom Raider bad guy, that guy was so boring. And okay, both have no motivation at all. They're just evil people.
Yeah.
But I think this guy at least is so evil, and he plays it in such an evil way that it turns out to be quite a good antagonist. And he also has a
Yeah.
relationship with the protagonist.
But I feel like you can also, because he's a king, and there were tyrannical kings, so I can buy into that.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
I don't need that much of a motivation behind him being bad.
Yeah. And also, it's a fantasy movie. In fantasy movies, you can just have evil kings that
Although
are just
it-
evil.
Although it is set in, it just I laughed when it gave us like an exact time period when it was set. It's like 984 AD,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't think there were dragons in 984 AD.
I read a review by Roger Ebert, this famous reviewer,
Yeah.
and he said that one of the confusing things about the movie is that it kind of takes place before like King Arthur, like after King Arthur times, but before the invention of indoor plumbing. Like that's kind of the time period where the movie.
That's a very exact time frame. Although that also doesn't make sense because King Arthur was never real. So
I mean, it's a legendary figure. It's so ancient that
Yeah.
there's no really people don't know. Maybe he was real. Maybe he was a mythical. Maybe he was a real person and then became like a myth.
who knows?
I read that they wanted to set originally the plot of the film like in the Robin Hood era.
Yeah,
okay.
Merry England.
Yeah, but then the director changed it to the Dark Ages because he thought it would be more believable for people to say, "Oh, the Dark Ages. We don't know that much about this time, so maybe there were dragons."
Yeah. I think
And also, we've cast this American actor as the main character.
with a wig,
so
with a stupid wig that looks horrible.
who I don't know what kind of accent he tries to do in the
I
film.
don't know.
It's like he's American most of the time, but then there are moments where you feel like he's trying to do a Scottish
Yeah,
accent.
I think they because I read about the casting that they did, and they casted at the beginning like English and Irish actors. They casted they did a audition with what's his name, 007, Pierce Brosnan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
they did that. Apparently, like the writer wanted Liam Neeson to play Bowen.
See, now that for me, I can see that makes more sense to me, honestly. Yeah.
And even at some point, Arnold Schwarzenegger was.
Of course, Arnold.
Hell!
Why not? He's everywhere. Don't do anything.
Oh wow! Who would
He
you
was
have played?
Conan.
The main character?
He was
The
Conan the Barbarian.
Bowen, yeah,
But I mean, he was in Conan the Barbarian, so
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
Okay.
and it would have been awful. But I just think it would have been cool.
yeah. No, I'm like, I
Wow.
guess
But I do enjoy the Dennis
yeah, Dennis Quaid
performance.
is good.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
he's not like super Oscar-worthy acting, but
Yeah.
he's a fun guy, and
Fun to watch.
he has chemistry with Sean Connery. I don't know.
With Dracula.
With the dragon.
Yeah, no. I think I'm not. He's not a problem for me. Like Dennis Quaid, I think he does.
He kind of
No,
looks
yeah.
a
I
bit
get
fake.
you.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Is it really a knight from ancient times?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess since the movie is so stupid, who cares? And then I believe anything. Then, so what happens after?
They sacrifice. What's her name?
Yeah.
Kara, Kara.
Kara.
Kara. Yeah.
Kara.
Yeah. They sacrifice her, and she gets taken by Draco.
Yeah. Oh, and then and that's when they meet her, and then they had of course, Bowen is like, where the fuck is my dragon? He goes to look for him.
Yeah.
He finds them in this waterfall. And then, of course, Einon is also looking for this girl that escaped.
Yes, that the queen helped escape.
He's like, there she is. Oh, my old mentor is here. Oh, what a surprise. Then he's like, Einon, what are you doing here? Whatever. And then they had this fight.
Yeah.
Where I think it's a great fight.
Yeah, I think it's a good fight.
The choreography, it doesn't really matter so much because it's student against mentor. And it's a kind of sad moment for Bowen.
Aww.
Because this is the moment where he realizes, like, all I didn't, like, I'm just, for this guy, I didn't mean anything. I was just a stupid teacher.
It's the moment he realizes that he was always just bad through and through.
Yeah.
And that
Lupin
played him.
And at first he's winning. He's like, he's still teaching him. He says to him, like, you never learned this lesson. Never turn your back on your enemy. But then as the more the other guy starts, like shitting on him, basically, he starts losing. And then he's like, fuck it, I lost. But then he gets rescued by Draco.
Yeah.
Like, shows the king his half heart.
Yeah.
Then the guy's like so scared he just runs away like a bitch.
Like a little bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have our main party of characters. And then basically what happens is that she tries to convince... No, they go to another...
Then I go to another village.
Well, she always tries to convince Bowen of like, hey, you can help us, like villagers, and this dragon. Basically, you can both lead us.
You have a fucking dragon, man.
Yeah.
Come
if
on.
you two would join us, or we could convince the people to fight against this asshole, we could win. But he's like, nah, it's impossible.
No, you can't do it.
No one can do it. This world is horrible.
And then they
go
to
money.
Yep. And then they go to another village, and she tries to rat them out, basically.
This village makes no sense because it's like a starving village.
Yeah.
People are like,
they're
so
like
hungry.
cannibals at this point.
So hungry that
basically.
they resort to eating basically people or anything. And they have like a bunch of pigs in the village.
Yeah.
They're like 20 pigs, like fully
I
grown
didn't even
fat
notice
pigs.
that. That's true.
Why don't I eat the stupid pigs? It's just so stupid. Like,
What else are you going to use pig for?
Yeah.
I think there's like maybe like a religion. It's like sacred or something.
I mean, I guess if they were Muslims, they wouldn't eat the pig.
I'm pretty sure that's not the case.
But exactly.
It's really stupid and makes no sense. So then they're like, please kill this dragon because he's eating all of our sheep and we're starving. But yes, he's like, this guy's a fake dragon slayer. He doesn't slay dragons.
Yeah.
And then
and everyone laughs at her.
Yeah, because he's like, this is crazy.
It's so ridiculous.
And I find that scene funny when brother Gilbert comes. He's
Oh,
like,
yeah, the priest
Bowen,
comes back.
you cannot put your trust in a better dragon slayer. I've personally seen him slay almost 2 dragons. Well, he really believes that Bowen is like the greatest hero of our times. Yeah. And then they try to do their little fake dragon slaying.
Yeah.
Yep.
But plot twist now. The water where Draco usually dives in after being supposedly killed, he always falls in water, is not deep enough, so he just like falls to the ground.
Yeah.
And then everyone is like so hungry.
They just want
of course, they want to eat the dragon, and he's like, oh shit, he has to escape. So then basically they discover he was a fake person.
So then they try and eat all of them.
Yeah, then they basically become
meat.
Yeah, like meat. It's so stupid. And then, of course, Draco saves them at the last minute and drags them across the sky to the next part of the story.
To the next plot point.
Yeah.
I think in the meantime, then is the king trying to get the dragon. I think he summons people to try to go and get the dragon.
The queen. The queen is like, my son, because it's like, this dragon, like, I'm so scared. And then the queen is like, do not be scared of the dragon, my kid, because I brought you a special gift. I have the best dragon slayers in the kingdom. They're like a bunch of generic-looking Viking guys.
No, they just got really fancy helmets
and
on.
I think they speak a made-up language. They just say nonsense, or maybe I'm really racist and it's a real language. I don't know. I just find it funny. And they
Because then they have this.
But she
they
knows.
go to this like Draco and the others. They go to this castle at night and they talk a bit more.
This is like the ancient Avalon
Yes.
legend.
Exactly.
Where King Arthur ruled and stuff. And it was also where Brother Gilbert was pilgrimaging, traveling.
Yeah.
And then they're basically like, what do we do now? And then Bowen is like, nothing. There's nothing we can do. Fuck it. And but Kara is like, no, we have to fight. The people, power to the people.
Yeah.
And they kind of split. Like everyone goes with Draco to fight a good cause. And then this guy's like, no, I'm not gonna do this. I'm a coward.
No, this is where Draco tells him that it was his heart. That he was the dragon that gave his heart to Lupin.
Yeah. To Lupin.
That's how I'm gonna identify.
But what I like about this scene is that he has this vision of King Arthur telling him like these things, and then he kind of makes up his mind. But it's not really like the real person who convinces him is Draco. Like, he's actually kind of his voice, I think, that he hears basically, like, because this dragon is also like he has the same values as him, but he lost them, and he kind of learns from Draco like, it's true. Like I have to be brave. I have to do my knightly duties. And I can't
that was
be a
really
coward.
sweet. Yeah.
And then they're kind of like, let's do this. Let's go die.
Let's go die together.
Let's go kill that evil bastard.
Yeah.
That rapes women and villages. And
Yeah. So then they go and try and convince the village folk again. To rebel again, and they're very reluctant, obviously.
Yeah, they're like, no, it's impossible.
Last time.
No, I can't do it. The last time I got my eye.
I was blind.
And everyone died. And no, go away, stupid. And he's actually about to hit her with a shovel.
Yeah.
That's like, what the fuck? That guy is crazy. But then.
And then
the dragon appears. He's like,
no, then he shoots the arrow into the shovel and.
Exactly.
Oh right, he shoots the arrow and he's like, don't worry, I will help you. And he's like,
you and what army?
What army? And he's like,
this army.
This is what I was expecting you to ask me. He rides to the sunset.
Thank God you've asked me that exact thing.
Yeah, and a dragon.
I already have an answer.
He was planning it. He was like, hey Draco, can you stand there and can we wait until like sunset?
Yeah, this is gonna, trust me, this is gonna look really, really good.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna ask me if I have an army with me. and then when
I'm gonna say like a total badass.
Yeah.
This army.
Yeah,
and then you're gonna fly over.
That's a pretty epic shot. Like the silhouette of the knight with the sword, and then the dragon appears with all his glory.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Wow, now we can win this stupid war."
Now we're on your side.
Yeah, I cut to everyone training.
Yep, everyone training, and then one of the king's spies, I guess, comes and sees it all and is like, "Oh shit, we're in trouble
why
here."
then they hide the dragon?
I guess there are not that many places where to hide a dragon.
I don't know. I guess why is the dragon there? Because it's like, oh, now I know everything.
I guess you want to keep it a secret as much as possible, don't you?
Why were they training out in the open with the dragon? Like, hey, we have a dragon. That gives the enemy a lot of like intelligence to kind of make a master plan to counter it. But I guess they were stupid and they didn't. But so
I mean, this is the Middle Ages. They're not that smart.
Yeah, also it took a while from one guy to ride from the castle to the village, then back, and then convey the message.
Yeah.
And he tells the king basically, these guys are gonna have a dragon. Like, we're fucked.
Yeah, we're screwed basically.
Yeah.
But the king is no. This is my kingdom. I'm gonna beat the shit out of them. I'm gonna kill them.
Yeah, it's just a stupid dragon. I'm not afraid of anything.
Yeah, this is I think where the queen gave him these dragon slayers.
I think so. Yeah. Then we got to the battle, right?
Yeah, I think so.
No more in between things. Yeah. Then it's the big battle. Basically, the villagers are like, storming the castle, going to war, and.
Well, first of all, they come along. And then the king's troops march towards them, and then they run away into the woods.
Yeah.
But then they've
and the
organized
dragon
this
appears.
trap.
The dragon starts attacking the castle. Boom, boom,
yes, that's right.
Fireballs.
And then they've planned this trap in the woods, and they trap them in this circle of fire.
Yeah.
And then they just go at it.
fight for a while.
Yeah.
And they're pretty cool.
There's some good
things.
fighting there.
And
Quite
there's also
surprisingly violent for
Yeah.
the movie.
yeah. A lot of people get stabbed. A lot of people get killed and
Yeah.
burnt. And
Yeah. Although there's a great moment that we both laughed at when Draco's
yeah.
attacking the castle, and then one guy like falls off the tower, but he does this great like
Oh yeah, I also remember that. Yeah, it's such a funny.
arms out, just kind of like
Yeah, it's very very funny. And there's also, of course, I laughed. I think it's funny when Fry Gilbert, for some reason, he's like a master
yeah.
bowman.
Yeah,
He's
he's
like,
just kind of like, oh, you have a natural talent for
Yeah,
archery.
he never misses, and he shoots one guy in the ass, and I thought that was
Yeah,
funny.
Yeah, that was
And he says, "Turn the other cheek, brother."
yeah, that was good.
Uh,
That's a good line.
Yeah, that's a good line. And
That's a sick burn.
yeah, and what I find funny about this movie is that I think Dennis Quaid is not good at sword fighting. I don't know.
Yeah,
he
he's not. He
seems to
doesn't
be like a
seem
bit
that
stiff.
much better than anyone else.
And
really.
I find that the actress, what's her name?
Insert her name.
Cara.
Cara, the character Cara, I don't know their accents.
Yeah.
She's like really good. She really like she really puts a lot of effort. And I don't know. I think Dennis Quaid maybe was too lazy to really like. It doesn't look like he's really fighting. He looks like he's more like dancing or like doing a choreography. And
Yeah.
I always find it funny if you look at his face when he's fighting. It's so weird. He makes such weird faces. Yeah. So I think she's much better at sword
sword
swinging
fighting,
than
yeah.
him,
Yeah.
even though he's the main character. Yeah. So then they start winning. because,
Yeah,
of course,
yeah,
Dragon.
and then the King Lupin calls for retreat, and
Because
that's,
yeah.
that's when the priest, the poet guy,
He says, "Thou shalt not kill."
and
Mm.
fires an
So-
arrow into his heart.
Exactly. And we see, like, I mean, he goes down a little bit. Like, you can tell that he
he's
gets
obviously
hurt.
hit.
And then we see that also Draco also gets
Falls
Yes.
from the sky.
Exactly.
But then we realize that, this guy he doesn't
Immortal,
die.
basically.
He's immortal. Even if you kill him, he doesn't die. Like, you can only kill him if you kill the dragon.
Yeah.
I mean, they shot him through the heart. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
like- and he doesn't die.
Yeah.
He's just like.
So he
takes the
realizes
arrow out
that.
Yeah.
And then runs back to the castle.
to stop the dragon slayers.
Yeah.
Because he's like, no.
No.
And then he realizes, of course, that his mom was not a very good mom.
Exactly.
She did not have his best interests at heart.
No, instead of
At
taking
heart,
him
get
to the
it?
psychiatrist or something like that as a kid, he just tries to solve the problem.
Pun intended.
Oh, God.
No,
What a
yeah.
horrible mother. Why didn't she support
I don't know,
him?
because I feel like obviously she saved him when he was younger, and she felt, because she talks about it. Oh, finally, my husband's tyrannical reign has ended, and I'm guessing she's a bit like Dennis Quaid's character. She hopes that her son's going to be better than his father is, and then he isn't. So she's looking for a way to stop his tyranny.
I guess you should never have a kid with a tyrannical, awful ruler, because then, your kid
I guess
is
she probably
also
didn't have
gonna
that
be-
much of a choice.
Exactly.
To be fair.
Exactly.
That's true. But then, she should have maybe. Because it's fine. You need your kid to leave. Like it's fine. It's fine what she did about the Dragonheart thing. You also need to like counsel him and give him support, emotional support, because this guy turned
Yeah.
out to be a psycho and a rapist. and a
But-
horrible
But it
man.
seems like, because I guess it seems like he idolizes his father to an extent. So maybe she didn't spend that much time with him, or didn't have
Yeah.
that much influence.
But,
And
but
she's like,
now-
okay, now I just have to kill this guy. Like,
Exactly.
no way
That's what
out.
I
I
mean.
failed as a mother, so
That's what
I-
I mean. I think I don't condemn her because she wants to kill him. I mean, it's unusual,
Yeah.
but I think, of course, he's an asshole, and
He's
there's
a-
the only way
yeah.
to get rid of
the
him.
thing is, he's just evil.
Yeah, exactly. He's
That's
evil.
the thing,
He's evil.
and I guess if
He's
he's
the devil.
immortal, then his reign is never gonna
Yeah,
end.
exactly.
So you have
Right,
to
right.
stop it.
Yeah.
And
So-
she does seem to be pretty disturbed about the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She doesn't like
it's
what
not
she's doing.
easy for her.
Exactly.
She's basically like, she
In
looks
a-
like she's not good. She's not well.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, so she's about to kill
Yeah,
Draco.
basically Draco's like, kill me, please. and
Please,
we
Yeah.
can
we have
all
to stop
end this.
him. Please.
I don't care if I go to Dragon Hell.
Yeah.
I made up my mind.
Yeah.
Kill me. And she's like, I'm so sorry.
Please forgive
but
me.
then, of course, Einon is there and he stops her. and he's so evil. He even kills his own mother.
Yeah.
that's
Like an
horrible,
asshole.
Yeah.
It's just
follows her and you hear
Yeah.
her screaming. Yeah.
And he enjoys it,
Yeah.
probably.
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 Yep.
Wow, what a monster.
Um,
Yeah, so then Draco is caught. He's chained to the floor, and they can't do anything now. And of course, after all this time, Bowen is like very good friends with him. So he's like, I want to go save this dragon. Who's with me? Everyone's like, I don't know. We
have to storm the castle though, anyway.
Yeah.
So
So then they storm into the castle, and
the three of the three of them kind of sneak in initially, and then they get into his bedroom.
his rape dungeon.
Exactly, his rape dungeon.
His BDSM lair.
Yeah.
And then this was another funny. It's just a small thing that you noticed was
Yeah.
like the doors sliding.
Yeah, like they have like sliding doors.
Like sliding doors that just kind of close on their own. Stone doors.
Magic. It's magic.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe he had a
thought that was
slave, but one of the villagers was like pushing it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm wondering, is that an automated system? Is there someone behind there pushing it and pulling it? Anyway, that was just a small
Interesting, yeah.
observation
Yeah.
we made.
It's a bit stupid, but it looks cool.
That's the thing. It looks cool. So they get to his bedroom and then he's there and he confronts them and he starts a fight with.
Yeah, this is
Dennis
like
Quaid.
the final fight. Like
Yeah.
Now we're getting it, and we're gonna finish this, and it's a pretty cool fight. I think that's like a good choreography. They build up the characters so that you want to see them fight, and pretty good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go down the stairs. They fight. They there's like cool scenery and
Yeah.
But of course, even though Bowen wins and throws him off the tower into his death, he doesn't die, of course. And then Draco is like, Bowen, you cannot kill this man. Like, you have to kill me. And he's like, no, I don't want to kill you.
No, I can't.
Like, kill me. No, kill me. And then, yeah, even Draco goes as far as trying to attack Bowen to like provoke him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's just so sad. I feel that scene is just really sad because it's like,
Please.
like it's just the worst thing that could happen, the worst tragedy in this whole story. Like
Oh.
the only thing that you don't want to see happening in this movie is basically him having to kill this dragon.
Yeah.
The one thing that he was supposed to do in the beginning of the movie, and now
Yeah.
you don't do
Yeah.
it, please.
The Last of the Dragons.
Yeah.
But then of course Einon comes back.
He runs
he
towards
grabs the
him.
girl, and he's like, "I'm gonna kill this girl."
Mm-hmm.
Then Bowen is like, "I don't know. I guess
I have to
There's
kill
no-
I
no
you.
guess I have to
choice.
do it."
Yeah, so
He-
Draco like bites his hand, which then injures.
Yeah, he bites his hand, makes the king drop the girl.
Kara.
He gives him just enough time for Bowen to grab an axe, and against all his intentions, he has to throw it and basically kills,
Draco.
stabs him right in the
Draco.
heart, and
Aw.
causes him
To die.
death,
Yeah,
and
but also kills the king in the
and
process.
saves the kingdom.
Yeah.
And then
And then Draco turns into this dust.
and that's
This sort of
that's pretty
stardust.
emotional.
Aww.
And
He goes into heaven.
yeah, he
Just
floats
like you
to
wanted.
heaven.
He goes to Dragon's Heaven.
Yeah, becomes part of the star system.
Mm.
Very sweet.
And then they start move and explode, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's weird.
Yeah.
But then he tells them like,
Not the weirdest part of this.
Yeah.
then he tells them something. Does he tell them something? Final words?
I mean, I think there is only like a final narration, right? Where
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
tell you, they now lived in a just kingdom and the stars of Draco shine, blah, 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 shone for years and years and blah.
Happily
Yeah.
ever after.
Exactly.
Happily ever after.
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 And then it ends.
It ends, yeah.
And then there's
it's
like a bunch
over.
of sequels on direct to video that I think
Yeah.
are bad.
Yeah, like I didn't know that there were sequels. Like
Me
we,
neither.
we
Yeah, we
find
didn't
that-
know that there were
I've
like
never
three
seen
of
them.
them.
I have no idea.
But
I don't
then
care.
what? The last one was really recently, like the third.
2015
Yeah.
or something like that.
I don't know. I've never seen any of the sequels.
Yeah.
I don't care
One.
actually.
That's really weird.
They seem to be bad. I don't know.
That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like, did it make enough money to warrant two sequels?
The movie was a success, but it wasn't like a huge movie. Like so, I think they were like, okay, it made enough movie. Maybe we can make more if we make like direct to video movies to sell to home video, basically, like not big releases because
Yeah.
it didn't make as much money maybe as they were expecting.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that was Dragonheart.
Yeah.
So from 1 to 10
Dragonheart.
Dragonhearts, how many would you give this film, Andres?
I think I give it 7.
Okay.
I think I give it 7 because it's a movie that it hasn't aged well. I feel like if you watch it now, like the effects are not that great. Some of the dialogue is very stupid, and the wardrobe is sometimes awful.
That's one of my notes. I think the art department
It's
is
horrible.
really horrible.
The props sometimes look
The
like
wigs.
One of my notes is it looks like Monty Python and
Yeah.
the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
looks exactly like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, sometimes it has really good cinematography. Sometimes it has really bad cinematography.
Yeah.
It's like but I feel like the story is worth watching. I feel like even with all these flaws, it's a good story. It's better than Tomb Raider. No, it's
Wow.
It's just trying to
Everything's going to be compared to Tomb Raider in future.
no, but it's I like it even with all these flaws, and I think that's why I think this movie should get a remake. I don't like remakes in general, but I feel like this movie would benefit because I feel like the story is good. It's just that they didn't quite have the technology and the experience. I don't know that they had back then that we have now back then.
Yeah.
But I feel it's enjoyable. And if you're looking for a stupid movie that is not gonna just to waste your time and have some fun and some good old action fantasy adventure, I think it's a good. Recommend.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you, Hazel?
I'm thinking about this. I think I'd give it about 5 Dragonhearts because, and maybe it's just me. I'm not always that fond of things set in sort of the Middle Ages. But no, I thought the story was sweet. I think actually, initially I thought the animation was going to look, and it doesn't look great, but it hasn't aged as badly as I thought it would have.
I think at the beginning of the movie it looks really bad, but then you your brain adapts and you start making sense of the thing.
That's the thing. I think the design of the dragon is good. I just think the CGI lets it down a bit.
Definitely.
I find
they actually
casting-
tried. They tried to do a real practical dragon, but it didn't work.
I can see how that probably wouldn't work, but that would have been cool. I would have
And
liked
they
to
thought
have
it wasn't
seen
like mobile enough. It was too like limiting.
that.
You
Yeah.
couldn't have like dragon running. And
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. Yeah. Yeah, and they also, I guess they didn't have the benefit like that Jurassic Park had where they could set a lot of it at night. So you couldn't, because at the beginning you can tell they keep it shrouded in darkness a lot of the time, so you can't really tell that much.
Right. And also, Jurassic Park has like 6 minutes of dinosaurs or something.
Yeah, something like that,
and
10
this
minutes
movie
or
has
something.
like 100 and something movies of dragon. So they have much more time to kind of carefully craft each of the scenes with the dinosaurs. This kind
that still hold up, yeah.
Yeah, that's why they look so good in this movie. It kind of sometimes looks really bad.
Yeah. And honestly, I find the casting choices a bit weird. I don't know how I feel about I mean, again, it's not to say what dragons would sound like, but having a Scottish dragon voiced by Sean Connery is a bit weird, I find.
It's very strange.
Apparently, at some point, they considered Whoopi Goldberg to do the voice
that
of
would
the
have been so good! Oh man, I want to see that movie!
But I do think that Sean Connery at least does a good kind of performance. I think his voice doesn't match. You
that's the thing.
I can see Sean Connery
Mm-hmm.
recording his voice in a studio, but he does act good. I think he does. If he wasn't such a famous actor,
that's the thing. I think he has a very iconic voice.
Yeah.
That it kind of pulls me out of the movie slightly every time I hear him talk.
You know, the thing. Maybe that's why I didn't. Because when I saw this movie, I saw it in Spanish years ago, and there is no Sean Connery in the Spanish version. It's just like voice actors.
Yeah.
So you don't. This thing was not a problem for me.
And I think maybe it's also because I think the new Lion King remake also suffers from this, that it's trying to be more photorealistic as opposed to like an animation. Animation, I can suspend my sense of disbelief that this dragon is talking to me, but because it's kind of more realistic, I'm like, even though obviously dragons don't exist, I'm kind of like,
Or
What?
do they?
Or do they?
They
What?
don't. But it's in the movie.
You're telling me this movie lied to me? But I think it's the idea of this sort of live action dragon talking like in the voice of Sean Connery. That kind of puts me off a bit.
It's weird. It's really strange.
It's kind
Especially
of
when he
weird.
says like, "Here I come."
Yeah.
Ready or not, here I go. Or
And
something.
then you have Dennis Quaid and the actress who plays Karu are both American, but
with fake wigs.
with
Yeah,
fake
like her
wigs.
wit is horrible.
Yeah, and both. Well, again, like I said, I don't know what accent Dennis Quaid is trying to do. If some
Yeah.
scenes it seems like he was trying to do a Scottish accent,
Yeah.
and then other times he's just American. So I don't know what was going on there.
It's magic. It's movie. It's all magic.
Just switch your brain off.
It's a fantasy land.
Exactly.
Nothing makes sense.
Anyone could be living in England in 984 AD. But I find slightly the story slightly disjointed. I think you have two different stories going on there. You have the pet dragon story in a way, that you have these two when they meet and they're initially mortal enemies and then they become best friends and maybe even lovers.
Yes, we
If
see
that's the
that.
implication.
Maybe one of the direct-to-video sequels.
Maybe they
That's
play
right.
into that. And then you have the other part where they have to defeat the king, and there's this other whole going on in the background. So it feels like, and like I say, the tonal shifts feels slightly disjointed in that sense. But it was an entertaining movie enough. Like for an evening, I enjoyed it. It was an experience. I found it fun.
At least you can say you saw it. And now you
Exactly. I was part
Yeah.
of this moment now. I
Yeah.
understand what people are talking about now when they say Dragonheart.
Yeah.
Because people talk about this movie so much.
All the
Yeah,
time,
all the time. I never hear the end of it. I was like, God damn, shut up about
What
this
is
movie
this Dragonheart
already.
movie?
God, if only I had to, I'm never going to watch this movie now. Like, no.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I would also give it 5 dragon hearts. Mostly because of the conflict. I don't think there's like a one definite conflict that I can really... Like, there's the one, like you said, there's the one with him and the dragon and their relationship, which what we read yesterday was supposed to be like the original premise. That's what they started the script with, just with the premise of this dragon and the knight who con villages.
Yeah.
And I think that, well, along the way, they just incorporated the share heart thing. And then you have the heart. So... Yeah, but I enjoyed it. I had fun.
But you have seen it before, right?
I had seen it before. Like when I was a kid, I really enjoyed it. I think it's I think for a kid it's very enjoyable.
It's definitely
Yeah,
a
I
kids
can
movie.
see
Exactly.
as
For-
a kid you'd enjoy
definitely
it
not a
more.
movie that is gonna be
Yeah.
thoroughly enjoyed by an adult. It's really
Exactly,
stupid,
exactly.
and it has lots of mistakes, but that's the thing. Like, it's a good kids movie.
Yeah, I think as a kid you oh my god, the dragon, and yeah, that's what I would give it. But it was fun to remember that film, and
It was harmless.
no,
It was a harmless viewing, exactly. It doesn't do you any
I
harm.
don't. I think we suffer. I mean, the only movie we've been suffering to watch is Alexander,
Man,
That
that
which
was a long watch.
which was unbelievably horrible.
Oh God!
Yeah.
I could see your your soul draining away. This
Yeah.
movie that you loved so much as a
Yeah,
kid.
yeah. But well, there you go. But
That's another episode.
Yeah, well, if you have any funny movie titles, we can go through that.
I have one. I don't know if it's funny per se.
Okay.
I just found it interesting. So it's Jaws, and it's France's title for it, and it was just called The Teeth from the Sea.
Yeah.
I thought I find that kind of cool.
We
Yeah.
just
kind
called
of
it
ominous.
Shark.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Spanish, it's just shark. It's tiburón, shark.
Well, that's even funnier. Why did I find that? That's such a giveaway.
That's
Yeah,
the
we
thing
just
I
call
was
it
gonna
shark.
say. The word shark in Spanish does sound kind of like scary. Like,
Yeah.
I think the title is
The word
called
itself.
tiburón, and it works. Actually, it sounds.
It does kind of sound
I mean,
menacing,
to
I
us,
guess.
I think it is kind of like a good title.
Yeah.
Because
I
the
think.
word
shark.
for Jaws in Spanish just sounds stupid.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. It doesn't sound. Yeah, I think like shark is like, whoa, okay, shark.
Yeah.
What did you? Oh no, I guess that's not. I was thinking of Shark Tale, but did you call that?
Fuck, how do
Oh no, that's like the shark spooker.
Ja,
Like
el espantatiburones,
yeah.
genau. Genau, the shark spooker. That's the
Like he
And that's an
spooks the
even
shark.
better title.
Yeah.
That's so good.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really stupid.
That's a really bad film.
That's
but
the worst movie ever.
Yeah. See, and I'd enjoyed that film a lot
You
as a kid
did?
as well. Yeah.
Oh god, I
How?
hated it.
Soundtrack. It was like it looked nice. It was
Ah,
actually colourful.
God,
You had
no.
some funny.
I had
performances.
nightmares. I have nightmares to this day from the Will Smith face in the fish.
Horrible.
Oh.
I think also because I think it came out after Finding Nemo.
Oh, okay.
So I really
So it
loved.
was a real step down for you.
Exactly. So I saw Finding Nemo, which I loved, and I thought, oh, another fish film. This is going to be good.
Another fishy film.
And then it's like, no.
No. Oh.
Yeah.
Shark spooker sucks.
Just watch The Teeth from the Sea instead. Just watch Shark instead.
Exactly. Well, the movie title that I brought is Spanish. I have two versions: the one from Spain and the one from Latin America, which I think both are really weird. Maybe it's a film, The Pacifier. With Vin Diesel, where he's like like a marine or something, and he gets sent to this family to kind of protect them.
Okay.
So it's called, the original title is The Pacifier. And in Spain is Un canguro super duro, which means a super hard kangaroo.
Why? Is it has to do with Australia or something?
No, I think in Spain they called nannies canguro. They called nannies kangaroos. So it's like a super tough nanny. But but the literal translation would be a super tough kangaroo.
It just makes me cringe so much when I hear this title.
And that's a Spanish.
That's the one from Spain.
I think they did it
Exactly.
on purpose. I think they did it on purpose.
Yeah, I know. It makes you think that they're just doing this one, but they're just taking the piss.
Yeah, and in Latin America is a bulletproof nanny.
Yeah, that
Okay.
sounds cool.
Yeah, that
sounds
sounds cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the super tough kangaroo is the Spanish from Spain version.
Was this a kids film?
Yeah. It's
It's
Okay.
the typical Vin Diesel comedy where he has. I mean, this is like his most famous film. I don't know.
I think he's like, I got to know who he was because of this film. I didn't.
Yeah.
I
It's
honestly
a
don't.
big hit. It was like
Yeah.
because he was.
When did it come out?
God, no, early
2000
2000s.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's basically him who gets sent to this family to protect them because they've been getting like death threats, and of course it's like he's very tough, very like in the military.
Yeah.
And then these
and then he has
kids
to deal with the kids.
Yeah, and the kids warm his heart, and it's really super sweet and super funny, I think.
Yeah, it's a fun.
It's a
movie.
really nice film.
Okay, okay.
It's always fun to see like a tough guy
Yeah.
having feelings.
Yeah.
It's always like,
Oh, look, he likes kids.
Yeah.
Exactly. But there you go. There you go.
Okay, that's good to know. I
Yeah.
learned so much today.
Yeah. Thank you again, Andres, for
No
joining us.
problem.
Yeah.
Curious to see what next film you'll introduce to us.
Me.
Yeah.
Ooh, I have so many
There's so many
awesome
Saved away.
films.
Yeah.
stored away.
Yeah, I have many films
Cool.
that we will watch.
Cool.
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 And I guess this is it for today's.
For today, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening to us another week. I hope that you listen to us next one. And yeah, I'm Altair.
I'm Hazel.
That is Andres.
Hello.
And hear you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
If you like this episode, why not hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss another episode? And if that's still not enough, you can follow us on Instagram at elevatorpitch_pod to stay up to date with all the latest news.